Guys, back with another video. We're getting in the 992.
Exit the traffic circle onto continue on for 3.
We got to where we're going. We gotta take kids to appointments. Daily grind. Appointments done. Getting back on the streets. I'm sitting at a light and this dude's like, "Are you daily driven Porsche?" What's up, man?
I love videos, man.
That's awesome. I appreciate it. Thanks for watching. Take it easy. All right, students dropped. Ready to get back on the streets. We're back at the house. Gonna start working. Just chilling outside. So today I'm gonna put 10% of my portfolio, which is 130,000. That's the cash position I hold. I'm gonna put it in SGov, which is short-term treasuries, 0 to 3 month treasuries. Shout out to my buddy Landis who brought SGov to my attention, because I I had my cash in a preferred deposit account, which yielded like 3.9%, but SGov, it yields like 4.6%. So the only reason I still have SCHD and I don't just store all my money in this is that this doesn't grow. So when the Fed cuts rates, this yield's going to drop, for one. Two, it's taxed at ordinary income on the federal level. So for me personally, I like CHD, the possibility for principal growth, and then also the dividend grows at 10% a year, 11% a year, based on its past 10-year track record. I'm not telling you to buy SCHD. You're better off just buying VOO. Sometimes I look at VOO and I'm like today, Meta and all them came out with good earnings, and I'm like, oh, here I am again holding SCHD, just sitting back doing nothing, and everything's pumping again. But I can't just sway. I have to stick to my goal, and my goal is income. So I'm focused on income. I mean, if I was focused on principal balance, just growing the biggest pile, I would do VOO and VGT. But I still have VGT, and I have my quantum stocks, and I have crypto. So I still have exposure to growth, but my main core is in SCHD. Guys, so here's our cash flow update for the day. We are at, this isn't the principal balance of the whole account. I have quantum and some other stuff. This is only showing the the balance of SCHD and then my cash. So my cash position's around 130,000 in SGov short-term treasuries, which is yielding 4.14. And then SCHD, I have 42,132 shares. So our income, you can see here, dividend growth rate 11%. Income 49,148. My goal is to just get this to have this increase every single day. And then you can see here income forecast. I was just thinking while I was running, I was thinking about all these different things, and I thought about a bunch of what ifs with the business, with investing. I just thought of a bunch of what ifs, and I thought to myself, don't even worry about the what ifs. I know this sounds like nonsense, but it's just what I was thinking. Sometimes you get a clear head when you're like running or driving, going to sleep. I feel like the what ifs will stop you right in your tracks. Forget about the what ifs. Make a plan and just go through the motions. Stick to the plan and just make it a system. Forget about the what ifs. Forget about all the noise and static and distractions, and just focus on the plan you created. Stick to it and just forget about the what ifs. If you ever want to do something or you start something but then you feel overwhelmed because you're too focused on the future, just worry about right now. Just chunk it down. Take one little step. Don't worry about the what ifs. I mean, be methodical in your thinking as far as planning ahead, but don't obsess about the future every day. Plan for it, but don't obsess over it. And definitely don't worry about it. Even in the Bible, it says today has enough worries for itself. Or don't worry about tomorrow, because today you have enough worries and tomorrow will have its own worries. So just worry about right now, the present moment. You know I botched that quote, but you get what I'm saying. Ooh, I had to take a little walking break. Nice new construction being built. Looks nice. They do these rock paths with this pea gravel. It's like number 7 or 8 pea gravel. Save a lot of money. They don't do pavers. They just put this gravel down. I mean, it looks nice, but it's definitely a money-saving thing on the construction side. Because you're not even thinking about what it's going to look like in 2 years from now. You roll up and you're like, oh, this is so nice. A year or two in, the rain washes it all out. It's all discolored. You got to get new gravel. By the time you do it 2 or 3 times, you're like, man, I could have got pavers. First-hand experience. Another good little thing I keep thinking about is that, man, I need to do more in life what sucks. Because when I built our business, my wife and I, it was like a quote that kind of followed. And it's doing life what's hard and life will be easy. Doing life what's easy and life will be hard. I suck at running. Like suck, dude. I'm 16 minutes in. Looking at that new construction, I stopped for a second and walked. I walked for about 30 seconds. But I'm getting better. And I thought, I hate running. I've hated running. So I never did it. But now I'm doing it. I'm about 3 weeks in. And I'm starting to like it. So maybe you got to do what you hate. And you might realize it's not that bad. And it's what you needed. I have to run for 32 minutes. I'm only 14. I have 14 minutes left. I'm stopping for the second time. Just to show you the kind of shape I'm in, I feel like I'm going to puke. Well, it's not that bad, but I kind of feel it. But that's what I need to do. This is what I should be doing because it's what I suck at. I'll be honest, I was going to the gym for 10 years doing exactly what I was good at because it felt good. Bench pressing, curls, shoulder press. Never doing the thing I needed to do. The thing I sucked at. One good thing about business is if you suck at something, you can delegate it. You can find someone that's really good at it and delegate it out. Fake. Another good analogy I think I'm starting to realize with running is don't stop. Just like with business or anything else, you're chasing the girl you're in love with or something, don't stop. Well, that might not be good advice. Don't stalk, but don't stop. You know what I'm saying? Like if you're focusing on your business and you're getting momentum and you're cruising, everything's going good, you think you can stop or pause for a little bit and everything will be fine, don't do it. It's like what I did with the YouTube channel. The channel was just rolling. It was doing good. Then I hit all the videos because I had to edit some stuff out of them. And then it just fell flat on its face. It went from making money to not making anything. Now I'm struggling to get it up and running again. So it is a good analogy. Apply it to running. Don't stop. The second you stop, dude, you don't want to start again. And then when you do start, you don't have the momentum. You feel all shaky. I'm describing the way I feel right now. We're getting back on the road, but we're taking the truck. Taking Big Diesel. All right, guys, back at the house. There's the 992 sitting pretty. I'm getting this paved. There's going to be pavers here in about 1 week. All right, we're back inside the house. I got to go out to the truck and clean it. All right, Big Diesel's got chocolate all over it. But that's what happens when you give your kids Kinder eggs, right? She's making lots of food. Salmon, mac and cheese, egg bites. I do a lot of daily driving. So now we're getting back on the road again. We're not taking the 992, even though I want to. We're taking Big Diesel. Mainly because of its comfort. Guys, I got these off of Amazon. Little bolt snips. So what I want to do is, I want to snip the little bolts that are coming through the pedals on the E30. Because your shoelaces get caught on them. I'll show you what I'm talking about. But before we do that, I want to check the oil level. Gotta love the E30 hood. Pretty cool, isn't it? All right, let's pull the dipstick, clean it, put it back in, see what it's showing. Let's see. Looking good. Right in between the two lines. I don't know if you can see it. This little harness cover right here looks like it was being chewed on by mice or rats or something. It has a new fuse box. Apparently that burned up a few years ago. Just check the coolant, that's full. All right, let's close this beast. All right, we just started this thing up. Started right up. Make sure I'm in reverse and I'm not in first. And I would not want to do that. Man, there's a lot of mosquitoes out. All right, so what I want to do is I'm going to cut these bolts behind these. They stick out, dude. One of them is loose coming through, but I don't know if you can see them. Yeah, you see them sticking out? Those freaking, you get your shoelaces caught on them. Because when you put your foot in, your foot goes like that and then your shoelace gets caught. It happened to me every time I've gotten in it. All right, I snipped them off. The only thing is that they're sharp as hell. I'm gonna have to get a file. I can't get that close with it because the size of the snips themselves, but it's definitely a lot shorter than it was. I don't think my shoelace will get caught. But if you're wearing so he's wearing sandals, my son or something, he'll probably cut his foot. So I'm gonna get a file and file it. A weird little finicky thing you wouldn't think of, but it really was kind of a pain. Like when you get in, like see how when you get in, see how like you put your foot, like that when you first get in, and then you'll go like that and your shoelace will get caught. But it was so long you couldn't put your foot forward to get it unhooked. See, now if I try to get it hooked, I can easily get it unhooked. It honestly it's just happening because it's a small car and he's 6'3", I'm like 6'1". Because these E30s are so much cheaper than the Porsches, it makes me want to get more E30s too. Like I would love to get one, dude, and change the interior, like completely redo the whole thing. Put it on airbags, put a LS1 Corvette engine in it. It's rear wheel drive. All right, now we're gonna start the 993 up. See if this bad boy starts. Inside the 993, if you guys are new to the channel, this is a 1998 Porsche 911. See the carbon fiber, X71 gauges. That's the option for the white dials. Ooh, we have liftoff. The clutch definitely feels different than the E30. You guys can see how iconic the E30 is. Even though the 993 is iconic and classic, that front end, man, I gotta be honest, it gives that a run for its money. Checking the garage floor where we're parking the E30. Just checking for leaks. So far so good. The only leakage I see on the engine is a little bit of seepage around the valve cover gaskets. But what do you expect? The thing's 30 some years old. And this is his younger brother. He was already in 4th or 5th grade when he was born. What interior do you guys like more? E30 with the classic steering wheel. Pretty cool looking, right? Turn a light on so you can see over there. Tan with the red, iconic. Can't go wrong with it. Look at the door, look how thin it is. Or do you like the all black 993 with the carbon fiber. Both are awesome. Different styles. It's a little dark, you can't really see much. All I know is that I feel like I overpaid for this, but when I'm standing in the driveway like this, looking at these cars, and you realize that this is a time capsule, you're not going to be able to recreate this, and one day you're not going to be able to even get it. And when you look at it like that, it's like, well, what value would you put on it? I do wish I would have bought a cheaper one though. But you get what I'm saying. What value can you really put on it? You don't really understand it until you open the door and you smell the smell. It's like a nostalgia in a box. This one especially. Man, dude, brings back just, I don't know, maybe I'm starting to realize, dude, I'm getting old. I'm getting older because I'm like, smell that smell. We've got the yellow headlights. These are a little bit more white with blue. They don't really match the front markers. That looks a little bit more time period correct. This is with the high beams on. If you guys don't know about the E30, it's the high beams. Dude, the more I look at the E30, the more I think people are sleeping on these. We better snatch these up before they're all gone. The body style is just iconic. It's awesome. I saw one on Bring a Trailer. It had 76,000 miles on it. It was a convertible, and it sold for $4,900. And the thing looked like it was in perfect condition. It was automatic, that's why I didn't jump on it. But I do have to say, there is probably rust things that you can find on these cars, you know, because there's water seepage and stuff. Parking this, and we're going to go cruising the E30. Alright guys, back in the garage. My son and I took this thing out. He was cruising. This guy's sprinkler was shooting straight up. Like it was like literally like spraying the street like a rainbow. And it hit the car and you could smell the like metal sprinkler water smell. So shout out to the seller of this car because he left the trunk full of detailing stuff. All kinds of detailing stuff. You know, we had to clean the 9932.
Come on, spill the tea, yeah. Ooh, alright. Woo, this is light work. Come on, spill the tea, yeah. Ooh, alright. Woo, this is light work. Come on, spill the tea, yeah. Ooh, alright. Woo, this is